people who study public health have been saying, listen, this is going to happen. It's only a matter of time.
This is a message from the government's chief medical officer about coronavirus.
You should now only go out when absolutely necessary for food, medicine, work, or exercise. Always try to stay 2 meters apart. Do not meet others outside your household, even friends and family.
I think this disease is remarkably infectious, even compared to influenza, the flu. And so even though we were prepared, we were almost overrun by the ferocity of the pandemic. It's highly transmissible, like other coronaviruses, which would only cause a common cold. You know, if you're in the room with somebody with a cold, you're likely to get the cold. But the problem with this virus is it doesn't stop in the nose, it doesn't stop in the lung, it can spread very rapidly into the rest of the body. And that's why it is such a dramatic disease.
Portobello Road in the heart of London's Notting Hill district, normally packed with people and tourists from all over the world. Now, in March 2020, its deserted streets, shuttered shops, closed schools, empty public transport, queues. The deadly COVID-19 virus that hit the world in the early months of 2020 led to scenes like this everywhere.
We all breathe, and it's very difficult to completely isolate the breaths of one person from another, so that it is likely the respiratory diseases the respiratory viruses that are going to be the real problem in terms of epidemics and pandemics, for now and in the future.
But this is just the latest in the series of pandemics that has devastated populations and societies across the world through the ages.
When I was a child, in the 50s, there were many diseases around. I got hepatitis, there was polio around, and you would see people who were crippled. And we were aware all the time of the dangers of infection, and the doctor would come to your home and treat you for that. But what's happened since then, we brought in antibiotics and we brought in vaccines, and gradually we've driven many of the infectious diseases, not necessarily out of the richer countries, but into hidden healthcare components of the richer countries, often into hospitals, away from the community. This hasn't happened in many parts of the world, for example, on the African continent, where they're dealing with diseases like this on a daily basis.
Each disease is slightly different from every other disease, and the problem with this COVID-19 virus is that we can't quite predict how this is going to turn out. We cannot predict at the moment how long immunity will last, whether it will be solid immunity, whether everyone becomes immune, whether you become more immune if you've had a more severe illness and have less immunity if you've shrugged it off quickly. We just don't know. These are still questions that are up in the air.
Diseases and viruses such as smallpox, bubonic plague, tuberculosis and influenza are some of the most brutal killers in human history. Outbreaks of these diseases across international borders are defined as pandemics. How did they change the world in the past? Why did they still happen? And how will they change the world again?
This will be a continuing battle. I think we thought we were winning the battle after around 1950s, and this is a reminder, the COVID-19 outbreak, that it is a continuing battle and it will continue on into the future.